Hi, I'm Dan. I'm here on behalf of Southampton Airport here in Marlhill Copse, which is an area of woodlands just to the south of Town Hill Park. I'm here today and taking this opportunity just to tell you a bit about why Southampton Airport has bought this copse here, this land, and to outline what we are required to do under legislation and how we intend to do it. All UK airports are required under European legislation to manage the height of trees around their runways. Each year we carry out a survey to highlight these trees, and we then work with local landowners and councils and agree how the tree work should be carried out, making sure that we do it as safely and as ecologically sensitive as possible. So over the past few years we've worked with local councils here in Southampton and in Eastleigh, and also with private homeowners on specific tree works at the M27 motorway, over by Eastleigh Rail Yard, and also up on Bitton Park. We've also been trying for many years to manage the trees here on Marlhill Copse, and last year the former owners offered the opportunity for Southampton Airport to purchase the land so that these works could take place. I know from speaking with a number of local residents and also members of the wider community that you've got a number of questions and queries about the work that we're doing here at Marlhill Copse. So I want to address some of those today. The first one being the paint markings that we have here and elsewhere in the woodland. We've put paint markings on the trees. It doesn't mean that we're going to be felling these trees. What we've used the paint markings for is to help us catalogue the trees, which forms part of our Woodland Management plan. It allows us to mark the location, the health of the trees, and also importantly the species as well, so that we can get an accurate view of exactly what there is in this woodland, and as I say, put it into a Woodland Management plan. Now the Woodland Management plan, the plan for this is to have this in perpetuity, really, to make sure that we manage this woodland as it should be managed. It's an ancient woodland, and we want to try and make sure that we protect that status as well. So the markings are only here really from a cataloguing point of view. So we will be felling some trees, approximately 27 of the larger pine trees that are located on the southern edge of the boundary, just by the residential properties. This is what we're calling phase 1. And phase 2 of the works is actually this area you're looking at now, which is what we're calling sort of the lower slope, lower bay trees. We will not be felling any trees in this location. What we are planning to do in the woodland that you see behind me here for phase 2 is some crown reductions, and importantly the crown reductions that we're proposing as part of our woodland management plan will leave the trees in healthy, balanced states, and we will not be felling and removing wholesale sections of trees from this site. So it's important to make sure that that's clear. And lastly, really, the important thing to make sure that everyone understands is we're not planning on building on this site. We have no development plans. We won't be putting runway lights in here. We won't be putting another terminal or any kind of buildings. We're required under European legislation to manage the tree heights here, and that's all we're going to be doing. In preparation for phase 1 of the works, we've also submitted a TPO access application to Southampton City Council, which is actually for the trees you see behind me, so that we can raise the height of those trees. And this will allow us to access this area with a sort of transit-sized vehicle, and that will allow us to do some of the works. Importantly though, we'll be using the current hard standing that's here, which is the old road, so we'll be making sure that we don't impact on any of the vegetation or any of the wildlife either side. From an ecological point of view, we take our land ownership role really responsibly, and are currently in the middle of a number of species surveys in the copse here to determine the presence or not of animals such as badgers, bats, dormice and protected bird species. We will not harm any wildlife in doing these works, and if it means waiting until certain seasons to carry out tree works, then this is what we must do. We have a team of ecologists to support all of our planning, and the works will be done with ecology as the #1 primary focus. So after the work is done, we want to give this land back to the community. We're really committed to working with the local council and any community groups at improving this wonderful green open space, and improving it really for visitors and residents alike. We don't feel that the copse has been managed very well in the past, and we're hoping that with expertise on our side and with the support of the local community, we can make this space wonderful for years to come.